2008 team will be honored on Saturday. I wonder what comes into your head immediately when you think of that team on which you were the defensive coordinator.
I think about the players on that team and how good they were. Made our job a lot easier, man. Those guys could play. And it was a joy to be around them, man. We had some playmakers there that were just incredible football players. And the App State, obviously, game comes to mind more than anything, and the plays that some of the guys made in that game between Patrick Weldon and Williams. What's our DB's name? Seth Williams. Come on, let's go. No, right. Seth Williams had 3 picks. I mean, those things, that's what you think about are the players.
When you move forward with this team, would you do so with the intention of playing 2 quarterbacks until further notice?
We don't know. It's all going to be situational, and how the game's going and what we need at that point in time. So I couldn't even tell you how the game's going to play out. One may play the whole game, but it just depends on how the game's going.
Tristan will likely move into second on the all-time tackles list at the University of Richmond. What distinguishes him from other linebackers you've had?
I think his work ethic, his knowledge of the game. Now, obviously, he's a good player, man, excellent player with a lot of skill. But he works hard at it. He practices hard. He works on his craft. And I knew he was going to go into second place. I thought he was already there, but to get to first place, he would need about 2 more years to get that one.
Thank you.
Given their offensive efficiency, would you anticipate your run game being even more important to kind of shorten and limit possessions this Saturday?
Well, yeah, I mean, we always want to run the ball, somehow, some way. We got to figure out ways to run it. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be important, but they're good on offense. We got to play good defense no matter, how the game's going, and we got to defend them. We got to tackle really well in this thing.
Again, along those lines, another mobile quarterback that will give you fits on both sides. Have you seen guys get the message now and get better against guys like that as the season's gone along?
Well, this guy's done a great job scrambling and getting yards after the scramble, and that's the scary part right there. Is how can we contain him, in the pocket and get pressure on him. I think the scariest part is that they have some playmakers out on the edge, and they can make you miss. And we have to get them on the ground. When we got a chance to get them on the ground, we have to get them on the ground. We can't let that pitch and catch, missed tackle turn into a 40-yard game when it should be a 7-yard game.
Will any of the 08 guys be able to address the team before this weekend at all?
No, we don't do anything on Friday night other than position meetings, and then Saturday before the game, it's pretty brief in there.
What did it mean to have the touchdown last Saturday, to have it against your brother and your family in the stands wearing Beanie Bowl T-shirts?
It was emotional impact. I've been there coming from Richmond and playing out there against my brother. I feel like the atmosphere and the environment was all I could ask for. So being able to perform in front of my family, in front of my friends, in front of my people, just the environment, it was good.
How about the play itself? Can you take us back and describe that? Because that was the end of a really good first drive for you guys.
Honestly, the game came from walkthrough. Coach mentioned the play was going to be put in, going into the red zone. It was a tempo play. He wanted us to turn our attention towards the sideline, and then after that, he was going to give us the play from there, and we was able to execute exactly how he planned it.
How do you feel you've progressed this season?
Honestly, I feel like it's been a rocky road coming from my own personal experiences on the outside of football, but I felt like my teammates and my coaches and my family members kept me on the right track. And like I mentioned in the first interview, doing my 1-11 and holding myself accountable to be a contributor player to the Richmond Spartans. So.
Beginning of the year, you had a little speed bump, didn't get into a couple games, and then you came back. What was kind of your mindset to get you to where you are now and being the contributor that you are now?
My mindset was to regain focus as far as on the field and off the field. How can I make myself better as a male individual, and how can I make myself better as a teammate? So I guess taking a deep breath, relaxing, remember how many nights I stayed up to put in work to get to where I'm at. I think was my most important thing about myself and getting back focused.
Hey, I want to go back to the Rhode Island game for a moment because I think you made 2 plays that were really under the radar that helped. The ball you knocked away that looked like it was going to get intercepted, and then the lateral where you were going to get flattened as soon as you caught it in the flat, and you didn't fumble it. Can you kind of describe those 2 plays and the little things that you can do to help make this team win?
So I want to say it was about approximately a minute and some change left when I deflected the ball out. I just wanted to give our punt team an opportunity to go out there and punt the football and not give up any accessible points going into the halftime. I think that was what was most important for me. I seen the ball in the air. I knew I wasn't going to be able to make a play on the catch, so I decided to knock out of bounds and prevent them from going down and scoring even 3 points.
How about the other one? Do you remember that one as well where, that was a tough hit you took and held on to the ball?
As you mentioned, I actually caught a flashback when you just mentioned it. As I went in motion and came back, I seen the safety triggering down, and I knew I was going to have to catch it regardless of the hit, regardless of the impact of the ball. So I wasn't too focused on the hit. I was mostly worried about protecting the ball, giving us another down to play.
I know you're confident in your abilities, but when you first started the season, could you have anticipated contributing as much as you have in your first year?
So as far as myself, I always wanted to come in and be an aspect to the team when right away, honestly. I think coming into this year, I found myself, Josiah Williams helped me guide myself through the freshman process. So yes, as a redshirt freshman, I did believe I was going to come in here and make an impact right away. And like you said, I hit a rocky road, but my teammates and my family brought me back to earth, and I was able to relax and do what I do best, and that's play ball.
I got to ask you about the other game Saturday. What's it like playing in that kind of a rivalry, and how connected are you still with the Springers, and can you handicap this Saturday's matchup?
You know who I'm rolling with all day, Holly Springs. I believe Coach Johnson and the coaching staff are going to find a way to get a W, and that's always the case over there at the Springs. So, honestly, Coach Jay got them guys over there mentally and physically prepared to go up against anybody in the state, anybody in the country. So, honestly, I feel like the Springers going to hold it down and do what they do best, and that's win.
Hey, finish up by focusing back on our game. Do you guys grasp the importance of this one? Campbell thinks they still got a shot at the postseason. I know you guys do as well, and just the importance of this game, especially going into your bye week.
Yes, we grasp some key concepts, and most importantly, it's staying fundamental and doing what we've been doing and executing as far as executing plays and just playing freely and being relaxed out there. We got a young group, and ultimately we can get told that we've been under a lot of pressure, but like Tristan Willis said, we like being the underdogs, and we prefer it that way. So going into this week, we're going to play fundamental, and we're going to do what we do best and relax and play ball. So
let's start with where we just finished with Kwanye, and that's talking about the importance and significance of this particular game. We know it's the next one, but they're a team thinking they still got a shot. You guys are a team thinking you still got a shot. You got a bye week coming up. What's the significance of plowing through this one, getting this one, and getting to where you want to be in the bye week?
Yeah, well, that was the emphasis on Sunday's meeting after our game. There's no time to rest now, and if not, do more. Considering we're going into this bye week, you can relax for a little bit, get your mind off football, but right now you have to be all in, especially in the situation we're in. There's really no room for error, and Campbell is a great team, a lot of transfers, stud guys. So if you're going to put a little extra in, this is the week to do it.
Yeah, what's that challenge like against a team, A, you've never played before anyway, and then B, they have all those transfers?
I think there's pros and cons to them having transfers. I mean, they have a lot of FBS guys. I think most of them were FBS, so they have dudes that can play, great athletes. But at the same time, they didn't go through the struggles of the team for 4 or 5 years like some of us have. So, going into the game, when I talk to the team before we play, I think that's going to be what I kind of harp on, that we've been through struggle here, and we stayed tight-knit, stayed together, persevered, and it made us better because of it. Whereas, their guys jumped in the portal and just showed up, and they're playing ball. They don't have the chemistry that we have, And I think that's going to play a major role for us.
Their quarterback has been there the whole time, though, and he's obviously really good. What have you seen from him, and what's the challenge to a kind of a dual threat guy who's obviously playing at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, we've had our fair share of quarterbacks that can run, and we've had some problems with them. But obviously, we know that he's a great athlete. That he will put a ball in there and on the money, and then run and use his feet when he has the opportunity. So we have to be on our cage points. We have to make sure we're rallying to the quarterback, taking good angles, and we have to be on our P's and Q's. But yeah, he's definitely a stud, and I think we can contain him though.
Along those lines, another high-powered offense, which is kind of the way the game is going. You guys feel like your experiences, you handle them maybe a little bit better than you did back in the beginning of the season? And if so, what has gotten better?
Definitely. I think we just grew in confidence. We had a lot of young guys, especially our corners and secondary, a lot of guys that, besides AB being like a 10th year or whatever he is now, but a lot of guys stepping up, becoming more confident. D'Lo's getting more and more confident. Obviously, Lowe's down, but Chance and just the secondary being more confident, knowing their role, being sound in the play calling, and linebackers too. I think Wayne's doing a great job stepping up. But I think we're more and more confident. We fixed the things that we messed up on in the past, and I think we're ready to roll.
During the game, do you have any awareness at all, or does no one even mention it to you, of the accomplishments and you rising up on the list of the all-time best linebackers in this place, or is that something that you're not even aware of until after the game?
No, I was just telling Mr. O'Connor over there when he brought that up, but actually I had no clue about where I stood or anything until a couple people came to me as they were looking through the stats, and I guess it was in like the program or something too. And a little kid had me signed right next to it, so I thought that was pretty cool. And that's like the first time I realized that I was even jumping up the leaderboard. But I mean, it's definitely cool. It kind of shows like all I put into it, and I hope I definitely leave in second place. Even though I wish I had first, but that dude's like 300 ahead or something. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's definitely a cool accomplishment.
So team defensively, this team is at the top of the FCS in takeaways with 20, touchdowns with I think 4. Why is this defense so opportunistic? What's the key here?
I mean, it's Coach Wood. He harps on it so much that it's almost like, all right, we got it. Like, we understand. But literally, we'd start every camp practice with a takeaway circuit, whether it was tip ball, interception, stripping, scoop and score. And then he emphasizes, getting to the ball, breaking to the ball. You never know if it's going to be tipped. Someone's going to punch it out. So, like, a good example would be Brill on the last game, just turning and running to the ball after he sees it throw, goes off his hands, pick 6. So you never know when the opportunity is going to come, but I think Coach Wood emphasized it a lot this camp, and we put it into effect, and it's working out good for us.
What's the feeling when you get not 1 but 2 pick sixes in the same game?
Not 2 is crazy. Anytime the defense can score and help out the team, it's awesome. And statistically speaking, if defense scores, your chance of winning the game go up drastically. So anytime we can get that done and either get the offense good field position or score for ourselves, we'll take it.